Hi there, I'm Kit Whistler, and welcome to my Roadhouse. We're inside a Sunshine, our 1976 VW bus right now, and this is my kitchen. I do all my cooking in here. Today we're in southern Florida, all the way down at the tip. Basically, if you go any further, you're in the Gulf of Mexico. I'm here about to cook up some Florida lobster tail, which is delicious. Got this from a local fish market. We're gonna be making this along with a starfruit tomatillo salsa. A passion of mine is seeking out local food as we travel around the country. That's a really big thing for me. I feel like you really get to know a place by eating of its food and learning about its cuisine, and I prefer to take that into my house. Some people like to go out to restaurants. I find it a lot of fun to go out and source local ingredients, bring it into my tiny kitchen and figure out how to cook local recipes on my 2-burner stove. Fresh is always best, and season is always delicious. Here in Florida, we've got a lot of seafood, and this time of year, tons of produce. Today, we're going to be cooking up a Florida spiny lobster with a starfruit tomatillo salsa. What we have here is some local Florida tangerines, hot peppers. This is a habanero grown just north of here in Homestead, and this was called a cherry pepper. Had never heard of that, but it was so cute, and it looks damn hot. And my favorite ingredient of the day, starfruit. Have you ever heard of a starfruit? I don't know if you can see that, but they look like a star, like one of those quintessential 5-point stars. I'll cut it for you and you can really see that. I got these off of a tree in Miami. As I said, as we travel around the country, JR and I are always looking for local, kind of obscure fruits, vegetables, and other foods. We stopped by our friend's house in Miami, and in the center of their yard, they have this huge starfruit tree that grows these. So I harvested a whole bunch of them, and we have like an entire drawer here in the bus. We have some green tomatillos, also local to Florida, and actually eat them raw. Most people like to roast them. I prefer raw tomatillos. And then, we wouldn't be in Florida if we didn't eat plantain. So we're gonna slice these up, fry them, and eat them on the side of our lobster. Our game plan for lunch today is to begin with the salsa, then we'll move on to cooking the hot stuff. I got all my ingredients here on the counter, and I'm going to begin with our base, which is our tomatillo. Let me grab a little bowl. JR handmade this bowl, so it's one of my favorites for sauces and salsas. And tomatillos are pretty acidic, even when compared to tomatoes, and I am personally a fan of that, so we're gonna stick with that. You can get rid of the acidity if you want by roasting them. Love the color of these tomatillos. In the South, they like to eat fried green tomatoes, and that's what I'm thinking as I'm cutting these up. In fact, I love green tomatoes so much, I always thought that should be a scent. You know how they always have cucumber melon? Why is there no green tomato scent, or even tomato leaf scent would be even better. I'm going to move on to our citrus. You can use whatever kind of orange you want. You could even use a grapefruit. These are Florida tangerines. It's nice and chunky. I like a chunky salsa. That was just one orange. I think we're going to stick with that because we also have our starfruit. So if you're in Florida, you have access to these guys. Maybe you don't where you are have access to starfruit because these only grow in tropical places. If not, you don't need it. You don't need it, but it would be fun if you can find them. Watch how these cut down. They look literally like little stars when you cut them. It's so cool. And I don't even want to dice these up right now. I just want to put them straight on top. If you've never had a starfruit, they don't have a super intense taste. They're more light. Almost think of a kiwi without the acid. So I have 4 starfruit total that I'm using in this salsa. As I said, these are imperfect because they're from our friend's yard, and imperfect fruit is always the best fruit. It's kind of a rule of the universe. I'm making 2 bowls because we're probably gonna each eat a full bowl, I would imagine. With the starfruit done, we're gonna move on to our greens. The cilantro, let's do that one first. If you don't like the stems, it's usually easiest to just pick the leaves off like this. I do that for JR because he likes the greens. If you like it chunky, you can go ahead and throw the whole leaves in there. I'm going to get it a little bit smaller. Oh, this is looking so pretty. Now we're moving on to our green onion. I'm going to do one for each of our bowls, one stalk. Last to chop up, we got our hot peppers. Now I know that the orange one, the habanero, is going to be really spicy. I don't know anything about this cherry pepper though. I really have no idea. I've never heard of this before. So I'm just going to wing it. I hope that that's okay, because I've done that before and been kind of miserable. JR can handle the heat though, so I'm going to go heavier on his. I don't think he'll mind. He can handle it. This is totally to taste. Woo, that smells spicy. Wow. Oh my God. JR is going to be floating this afternoon, aren't you, JR?
Yikes.
It's making me water inside. Like, I don't think my eyes are watering, but like behind my eyes are watering. Is that a thing? Itty bitty dices. And this is why it needs to marinate, to get this hot pepper kind of mixed in there. Let's go it in. Hope it's not too spicy. Finally, let's top this all off. This wild salsa I'm making with some lime. Gotta keep it acidic. Acid is your friend when you're cooking. I have this special citrus squeezer because I use so much lime and lemon in my cooking. Take the top of the peel off, twist it on in. You see that juice coming out there? That's what you want. My mom is the lime queen. She grew up in the Caribbean and they put lime on everything. So I know a thing or two about my citrus. Thanks, Ma. Now we're gonna mix it all in so that the lime and pepper can marinate throughout the rest of the fruit. If the southernmost tip of Florida were a dish, it might be this dish. With that all mixed in, we're gonna set this aside and go ahead and cook our plantain and our lobster. This is my extra storage space up there. These are green plantains. You can fry up plantains green or ripe. Either way, they're pretty delicious. We're gonna cut off the peel here because they're green. So the peel sticks to the meat a little bit when it's like that. I'm gonna move that out of the way so I can get under here on my stove, and then we're gonna move on to the fun part, the sizzle. I know this is unconventional, but we're gonna be cooking our lobster today in a cast iron, so that's gonna be fun. We are about to cut our lobster shells. This is so you can get at it after it's cooked. So what you wanna do is slide your scissors in under the shell. Takes me 2 hands to do this, and get a nice slit right through the center of your lobster. Go all the way down as far as you can, and you'll probably cut the top of your meat, and that's perfect. You're going to want to slip some butter in there, and good cooking. I'm going to go ahead and slide some right in between in that slit we made. I'm a salt pincher. That's how I like to do things in my kitchen. So I'm going to pinch some salt right on top there. I don't care what anyone says. You can make lobster when you're camping, and you better if you're in Florida. Many times when you make lobster in the oven, you get it on broil, right? Or you put your grill on really high. So here we're going to want to get our heat going pretty good on our cast iron. You're going to want that butter to be sizzling just a little bit before you get it on there. And once you throw it on, it should be Sizzle City. Just waiting for this to heat up a little bit. The Florida lobster does not have pinchers. Fun fact. Driving JR nuts by telling him fun facts. He's rolling his eyes and telling me I'm ridiculous. Whatever, JR. Music to my ears. got a lobster geyser going on here. Leave the lobster like this for probably about 6 minutes or so. We'll flip it and then I'll check it out and see how it's doing. These plantain are looking so good. It looks like our lobster's ready to go over. Oh yeah. To get the lobster tails to stay on the other side, you'll want to slide them up against the edge and kind of lean the end of the tail over the edge. That'll keep them from flipping over on the side because you kind of want to get that top browned. The salsa is smelling so good. I'm going to go ahead and turn our lobster off. We've had it on for about 15 minutes total now. It's hot, so be careful. So I'm going to plate it this time. Look at that. Oh, ho, ho, ho. And the other one, flip her on over there. Remember our little stars? Now that we got our lobster on there, I'm going to go ahead and just put these stars around the side because they're so cute. That's going to look so nice. Getting them out there, JR is going to be impressed. And then he's going to say what he always says. Can't get this in any restaurant. Just sprinkle a little bit of last minute cilantro on there for good measure. And we're looking ready. Between the stars and the lime and the smell of this lobster, I'm starving. So I think we're going to head out to the picnic table and enjoy our lunch in the open air. It's looking just as pretty as I hoped it would. And now it's time for the hard part, which is seeing if it's spicy enough. Mmm. Oh yeah. We got some nice spice going on in there. JR, you're gonna like that.
I gotta get in there.
Here's your bowl. There you go.
Thank you. Cheers, everyone. Looks like it's gonna be a good lobster.
Cheers. And I bet JR is gonna eat this entire starfruit in one bite and I have to cut it into 4.
Well, if I had some utensils and an extra hand, I might be able to do it.
But are you gonna put down the camera?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. He's gonna put down the camera. We're gonna enjoy our lunch before it gets too cold. And then who knows what's next?
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thanks for joining me at Kit's Roadhouse. We'll be back next time cooking up what, JR?
Who knows what we'll find down the road.
Something spicy.